Okay, welcome back to another video. I am on the video grind right now because I have 1 week until I start climbing guiding again, or climb instructing again for the summer. And so that means that I kind of have to get on this videoing or I'm going to be seriously behind or I'm going to fall out of filming. So let's get into a June to be read, June TBR. I know a lot of book vloggers will film this kind of video the month prior to it being released or a few days prior. Guys, I apologize, but we're gonna do something kind of funny this time. I've seen in the past where book vloggers will have a to be read cart in front of them, behind them, off to the side in the frame of the video, and they will have some sort of jar with prompts. These prompts, for example, are like very random, very like just out of the blue to help you curate your next month's read. They can be as broad as contains the word the or lands in an even number of pages. So that could eliminate only just half of the books that you have on your TBR shelf. Or it can be as specific as read a Ursula K. Le Guin book. Like something that has been on your radar, but you don't necessarily know if you are going to pick it for this month. And then over time, this jar will fill up with more prompts as they add more books to their to be read pile. Now, obviously, I am a proponent of the library. And obviously, if you can look at the books behind me, most of these books are not readable, like not like enjoyable by me. This is very heavily nonfiction behind me. So we're going to do something a little bit funny this round. I hope you guys can pick up on what's about to happen. I have been also very fortunate to have collected quite a bit of physical copies, some from the library and some from because my birthday was a couple weeks ago. The library books combined with books I've collected, combined with I've been going on a lot of walks lately and been going to free libraries and picking up the books from free book piles. So that's kind of like what's on the shelf, a little bit below too, that I will be drawing from, trying to keep them a little bit of a surprise so you don't necessarily know what is going to be involved in this book vlog. But yeah, I added some prompts that I know that I can find books off the shelf that I will read. And so yeah, let's just get into it. It's gonna be kind of funny. So yeah, my average reading per month right now is 5 books, but we're gonna shoot for 6 of these, and hopefully in June we can read 6 books. That is my goal for June. I am starting a new job, but that's midway through the month. I'm also halfway through 2 books. That is on my June TBR. Knowing that I can finish 2 out of the 6 in the first week only really leaves me with 4 books left, which I can totally do in 3 weeks. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So I don't know where should I do this? Like, should I put this down and I know people. We have purple and blue prompts. We're gonna start out with a blue prompt. Because I put this on sticky side in so I wouldn't be able to read the prompt, but it's actually so hard to unpeel this. Oh, here we go. I also should not try to look at it. Okay. You can see it. I don't know how. Guys, booktubers somehow make this readable on the camera. Clearly, I did not think about that. So I will read these out loud to you. I've already seen this prompt because I just glanced at it. But the first prompt that we have is award winning. Okay, so like I mentioned, I'm halfway into 2 books on the June TBR. We have a few books that I do want to read this month that are award winning. We have Orlando, many awards there. We have The Silver Book by Olivia Liang. We have Anne Patchett's Bel Canto. And we have the Brontë sisters' selected works, which, okay, I found this on a free library. Oh, look at that. We also have, did I just gloss over that? We also have, oh, Taiwanese Travelogue. Hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down. But yes, the Taiwanese Travelogue by Yáng, Shuāng-zǐ, translated by Lin King. This has won the 2026 International Booker Prize, and I am about 1/3 of the way into it. I really do need to sit with my thoughts before I talk about this book, because I have seen quite a few reflections on it that have made me think about this book a little bit more deeply. On the surface level, I will say this book is not doing it for me. Maybe travelogue style books are not for me. They tend to be very place heavy and word heavy, if that makes sense. Like when you go and travel, you're busy with your everyday life. You don't really go into detail. I guess what a travelogue is that you do go through a story. You share your journey with a bunch of people, or maybe you just share this journey to yourself later in life. But the point of a travelogue is to recount where you've been, what you've tasted, what you've felt, and all that sort of stuff. Along with that, because you're doing so many things day to day, I feel like most people don't necessarily have the time to put in the work. They don't put in the beautiful language that I feel like other literary fiction does. And so it can feel like kind of a journal or a recipe or something that you just read where someone goes from place to place. And that's kind of what it started out as. But as I'm reading through this, I can see the development of relations. This is a book that especially talks about the colonized world, where two people who are a part of the political landscape during this time manifest into their everyday lives, into relationships. And so I do think that part is very interesting, how they interact with each other and how each person kind of knows their own place. What I am interested to learn about, especially because this is based out of the early 1900s, is the perception of a working woman in the 1900s. The main character's status as a writer is actually pretty high compared to other literary works that I've read in this time, especially the other book that I am reading alongside this, which is really interesting, Orlando by Virginia Woolf. I'm just kind of struck by the way it illuminates the life of a celebrated woman worker in the early 1900s. And as I read alongside it with Orlando by Virginia Woolf herself is from the era of the early 1900s. And it's about this, without like spoiling too much of it, it is kind of about the profound experience of gender across time and space, especially in the professional workspace. Reading both of these works in tandem back to back is really deepening my understanding between how women's experience differ in the workplace. Yeah, I guess without realizing it, I've curated a feminist tapestry of learning, if you will, of one that weaves together personal experiences, gender perspective, and just the evolving landscape of the workspace in society of today, maybe. So I think that's kind of neat and definitely coincidental. And you know what's not coincidental is okay, so we have the Taiwanese Travelogue as our June first pick of June TBR. Okay, now we have, I don't really know how to do this. Okay, let's go. We got a blue one before, so we are going to go with maybe green. Let's do green. So if you can read backwards, we have a free book, and that does not mean that I can choose any book. This means that this has to be a book that I got for free. um, I should have been more elaborate on this. I meant that the book had to come from a free pile, is what I meant. Like someone gave it to me for free, but not I knew them personally. It had to be that someone gave this book for free and they weren't intending for me to get it. Like they had no relationship for me to get this book, if that makes sense. Let's go to our stack of books. Actually, this one is not planned, like not like any of them were planned, but I did throw in that one seeing if that would throw off my 6 books that I didn't plan. This one is going to throw off the 6 books that I didn't plan. So, free book. Oh my god, I could read this one actually. So the free books that I got, the selected works of the Brontë sisters that I got in a free library the other day. Okay, now I can finally pull this out for you guys because, oh my god, it is, look at the sprayed edges of this. I've never had a sprayed edge book before, and I see so many booktubers talk about sprayed edges, and when I saw this, I like literally gasped. I've wanted to read so many of these books. Look at this, like, it's so beautiful. It's also like maybe only $15, so it's in wonderful condition too, and I hope to keep it that way, which makes this kind of hard to read, to be honest. But imagine I'm in public. Imagine I'm just like, and there's those sprayed edges, and just like, imagine I'm like this deep into it. I've been meaning to read Wuthering Heights for a while. I tried to start it earlier in the year, but for some reason I couldn't get myself into it. I've been in a big classics mood lately. The start of my classics journey actually started last year, where I picked up Day and Night by Virginia Woolf, and I loved it. It just took me kind of a long time to get through. It took me like a month to read it. It was only like 200 something pages, but I remember only having like the brain capacity to read 10 to 20 pages at a time. And now that I'm reading another Virginia Woolf, arguably a lot harder than Day and Night, I can read for hours. So maybe it is time to give Wuthering Heights another chance, and then I can watch the movie. Okay, let's move on to the next prompt. Ooh, okay. So now we have a translated book. Here we go. So this is a translated book, but we've already picked this one. So let's look back at our shelf. The only one I see is Near to the Wild Heart by Clarice Lispector. This one was translated from Portuguese. Oh, it's translated? Yeah, from Brazilian. From Portuguese. Let's see if I see any others. That might be it. So this will be our June TBR translated literature fiction. This was supposed to be my May TBR, but didn't get to it. This will be my second Clarice Lispector book too, which I'm really excited for because as I am entering my mid-20s, I realize that I need to read all of the literature that people recommend to young people before they leave their 20s. For example, I've heard that she wrote this when she was 19 or 20, and it really speaks volumes to people that age. And even though I'm not 20 anymore, I'm 26, I'm 5 years over 20, I feel like I can still relate to a lot of 20-year-olds. Like, the world that a lot of us live in today, we're navigating how to find our identities in this world, in this ever-changing, depressing world. We're navigating this extreme job market that's ever shifting, that's ever holding us back from what we truly want to do, and how to find our voice in this swamp of voices out there and the billions and billions of people. I fall deeply existential every single day. I do want to relate to other 20-year-olds, so let's get to reading this one. Next book. I don't know what color we're on, so we're just gonna choose either green or blue. Ooh, green. Okay. So we have a green, and I have to put you down to open this. Okay, we have a cult classic. What could that mean? I'm not a big follower on cult classics, but I think cult classics could be Anne Patchett, because a lot of people love her writing, and I've never actually read an Anne Patchett book. Another cult classic could be Ursula K. Le Guin. I am suddenly in the bandwagon of Ursula K. Le Guin because I read The Dispossessed at the beginning of the year. I've also since then learned many facts about Ursula K. Le Guin, notably that she lived in Portland, which is where I live and was raised. And so that's kind of cool to think about that. While I am a writer and I'm trying to make it into the world of writing, I can somehow embody the works of Ursula K. Le Guin, thinking about where she roamed around the cities of Portland. So that could be a cult classic. Not saying that this was going to be a cult classic book, but I know that Pat Cadigan Synners, that's been on my For You page for a really, really long time, since February, is a big cult classic. This is going to throw off my entire to be read because I did pick a wild card, which was Bronte's Sisters, and I know I have a prompt from one of these. I'm not going to say which one. So I am deciding if I should just pick Left Hand of Darkness, because I do want to read that one this month, or read Pat Cadigan. I think I'm gonna go with Pat Cadigan, only because this is a library book and I've had this for a really long time. I am well aware that this book on my library holds list has been due several times over, but every time that it is due, the Multnomah County Library has been renewing it, which means that no one is looking for this book. Otherwise, I would have returned it in due time. Don't worry, babes. This one is still in my possession because no one else wants to read it for some reason. So maybe I should read it. So far we have Taiwanese Travelogue, number 1, the Brontë sisters, selected works, one of those, maybe Wuthering Heights, maybe something else. Near to the Wild Heart is number 3, and now we have Synners by Pat Cadigan is number 4. So we're going to put this away. Maybe this book will come back to haunt us. Our shelf is slowly sliding, slowly cascading into my brain. Anyways, let's just get on with it. Green again. This one is book recommended by a friend. So some of the books that were bought for me and given to me by my birthday were, I would say, definitely books recommended by a friend. So that includes Ursula K. Le Guin's Left Hand of Darkness. Okay, it is a library book, and I am halfway through this book, obviously. But before I started this, my friend Sage was like, have you read Orlando by Virginia Woolf? And I was like, no way, because that's on my library holds list. I'm like number 1 in the waiting queue, and I'm about to get it like next week. So I will say that Orlando is also a contender for this month's reading to be read. So we have Orlando. We have Left Hand of Darkness. And then we also have Parable of the Sower, or as we should say, or have you ever read The Parable of the Sower?
I just read this book. It was called The Parable of the Sower. Have you heard of it?
Oh, and Patchett. That is also included in this prompt because when I picked this out from the free box, I was with my friend Asher and I picked it up and he was like, oh, I love that book. You should definitely read that. So I have actually a lot of contenders in this prompt, which I didn't realize. But I think I'm going to go with Virginia Woolf just because I'm halfway through and oh, actually, no. I know some of the prompts left in this jar. I have 2 books left, and I'm going to put this one back. But if I don't get this prompt in the next 2, what I know what this prompt is supposed to be for, it's going to be a weird June month, let me tell you that. Like, would I read this? Would I finish it? I don't know. Okay, let's just pick. I'm going to actually go with, I'm going to go with Left Hand of Darkness. This is kind of a change in pace of what I normally read because this is a science fiction. But Ursula K. Le Guin is by far one of my favorite authors, and I've only read 1 book by her. So can I say that she's one of my favorite authors if I haven't even explored any of her other books? I don't know. We have now 5 books, and that leaves us with 1 prompt left. I'm really hoping it is Virginia Woolf, but we do have 3 books left on the TBR shelf, plus a couple down here, 2 that you can't see. So here it comes, the last and final book. In real time. No cuts allowed. Guys, we got modern classic. I'm so happy about that. Okay. Wow. Okay, we have a lot of good books this month. I'm gonna put down this mic and hold them up for a second. No, because this is actually a crazy feat of my June to be read. Like, who could have predicted that was gonna be my June to be read? Who could have predicted? I guess that's all I have, guys. I don't really know what other people do in these. I hope to give you guys a May wrap up soon. I did read quite a bit of May books, but a lot of them have been returned to the library. See, I returned my books to the library, guys. Yeah, I guess that's all from my June TBR. If you've made it this far, comment a book that you guys are very excited to read this month. And yeah, happy reading days.